Hey everyone, how's it going? My name's Cloud, and welcome to my personal VOD reviews of Locals. In this episode, we'll be taking a look at Game 1 of Week 1 of the EB02 Meta, where I play GY Yamato versus Black Marshall D Teach. Here's the deck list that I played in this match, and if you haven't already done so, please go check out the Locals retro video I made that covers this deck list and my overall thoughts on how Locals went this week. Without further ado, let's hop into the game. Alright, we've got Game 1 of Week 1 of the EB02 Meta. I'm playing GY Yamato versus Black Marshall D Teach. You're gonna hear me go back and forth between Teach and Blackbeard just because they're the same character, so just know that if I'm saying one of those names, I'm referring to the leader most likely. This is the week that I was feeling a little under the weather, so it's probably gonna affect my plays, and I'm ready to just see a lot of mistakes happen on my end. This matchup is also pretty tough for me because my deck does run a lot of on plays, and Teach is able to turn off on plays. If you're not familiar with the Marshall D Teach leader, let me go ahead and put it up on screen. He says, your on play effects are negated. So Teach himself cannot play any on plays, meaning his deck won't have any of that. But the second part says, activate main, you may trash one card from your hand, your opponent's on-play effects are negated until the end of your opponent's next turn. Sucks for me, sucks for anyone really playing against Blackbeard. If they pitch a card from hand, we can't play on-play effects, right? Really annoying to deal with, especially in decks like mine, where we have a lot of power built into the on-play effects, so we'll see how I navigate through this. Go for the deck cut there. And let's go into the dice roll. I'm gonna roll a 9 and my opponent rolls a 4, so it's my pick. So in this matchup, I'm looking to go first 100%. Being able to attack first on 3 Dawn is really good for me since, now that you know, Marshall D Teach has to pitch a card from hand in order to activate his on play. Being able to attack first means that I gotta start pressuring his life or his hand early on. Whoops, missed it there. Let's take a look at our opening hand since I do know that I'm going first. Perfect. We start off with a 3-cost Mihawk, 4-cost Nekomamushi, 7-cost Hody Jones, 1-cost Blade Slice, and 5-cost Momonosuke. Let's do our usual counter count here. We've got a 2k, a 1k, and technically a 1k with Blade Slice, but I'm not going to count it since you do have to leave up a Dawn in order to activate this counter event. So in our hand, we only have 3k counter total, which is a little low for my preference. You know, a couple attacks, if I'm choosing to defend, is gonna burn my counter from hand really quickly. I am happy to see the Mihawk and a slash character, so that's good. Since I'm going first, I will hit my 3 Dawn turn first, meaning that if I want to, I can play the Mihawk into Nekomamushi to try to establish a somewhat wide board, so just gives me more attacks. Additionally, I am happy to see the Hody Jones. It's my finisher for the game. I don't really have any draw or search in this deck, so being able to have it in hand means that I have that buffer to know that I have a endgame plan. Other than that, this hand is only alright. So let's see what we end up doing with this hand. Okay, I choose to mulligan, and I kind of agree with my past self decision here. It's because I am trying to find some of the other cards in my deck that can work against Teach's on play, or his ability to turn off on play abilities. Namely the 4-cost Kikunojo, the 4-cost Basil Hawkins, and the 3-cost X-Drake, right? All these cards do not involve an on-play, and they're really annoying to deal with for Blackbeard, so looking for one of those options early is really good. But thinking about it now, having the Mihawk and Nekomamushi wasn't too bad, like I said. Going wide against Teach is generally a good idea, just because it means you have more attacks. I could have kept the first one, but it's okay, we ended up mulliganing. Fist bump to start the game, set up our life, and let's get going. Taking a look at our actual starting hand here. Give me a second to shuffle, and then I'm just gonna pause. There we go. I'm getting better at spreading the cards and giving myself time in the video to actually look at these, which is go me. Alright, we got 3 cost Izo, 2 cost Hiyori, 2 cost Tonoyasu, and 2 cost Onamis. Let's do our counter check. We've got a 2k, 2k, and the rest are 1ks. So that brings our total up to 7k counter in hand. Very nice. This is really good in terms of defense. I have options between my 1ks, which ones I want to use for just low cost counters. And we have 2k options in case they end up swinging 6 or 7, right? Very good hand in terms of defense. Now, in terms of the cards themselves, I am happy to see my usual opening cards that I like to play with Yamato. Tonoyasu is a really good card for buffing my leader up to 3k all of a sudden for just 2 Dawn. That's a 1 Dawn, efficiency there. Plus, we've got the Onami that gives my leader Banish. So Banish double attack is very strong. I get to send 2 life cards straight from their life to their trash. So really good to see that. But the downside is, once again, Teach can turn off on plays. So all these cards except for Tonoyasu here are on play abilities, which is a little rough, right? I didn't see any of those 3 cards I mentioned earlier, but hopefully we can find them soon. Pretty good hand compared to the first one, so let's just get going. 1 Dawn pass, goes over to my opponent. He goes up to 2 Dawn and draws a card. 6 cards in hand total. He's gonna play the stage card, which is full lead. I believe, let me pull it up on the side here. Yep, it's a 1 Dawn event, or 1 Dawn stage that says activate main. You may trash 1 card from your hand and rest the stage. Look at 3 cards from the top of your deck and reveal up to 1 Blackbeard Pirates card. So, Searcher, he gets to look at 3 cards. Let's see what he picks. It's gonna be Shiru. Alright, I believe that's the 2k counter Shiru. Yeah, that's the 2k one. Oh, he doesn't. Okay. He takes Vasco's Shot, which I think that makes more sense. Vasco's Shot is a chunk blocker, so it's really good against Yamato. You already know that now I have to deal with that. He then plays the Event Searcher here. I forgot the name. It is My Era Begins, which lets him look at top 3 again, pick 1, and then trash the next 2. So, trashes 3 cards. Oh, it's because he uses leader ability. Alright. So, trashes 2 cards from the event, and then he trashes this Burgess right here in order to turn off my on plays. So, if I went with my initial opening hand that had the Mihawk here, immediately I can't play it, right? That kind of sucks. Oh, there it is. I drew it from my deck. So, proves my point that now I can't activate it. But as usual, I'm just gonna go 8k, double attack to my opponent's life. 8k. He ends up taking it, and then I just pass the turn because there's nothing else for me to do. But real quick, looking at it, maybe that wasn't the smartest play. So going back to Teach's leader ability, right? He needs cards in hand in order to activate his leader ability, and if he uses it too often, he's gonna go down in hand size really quickly. But with my leader being a double attack, especially that it doesn't have banish, double attack here kind of helps him in the sense that now he gets to take 2 cards and puts it into hand. So he has a lot of fuel now to just continuously use his leader ability. I'm now pressured to have to try to burn the cards from his hand so that he doesn't do that. But I've got no characters on board, which is really tough. So looking at my hand right now, I think the better play would have been to just actually put down one of my Onamis, right? Playing out the Onami for 2 Dawn. would give my leader banish. So let's just write it here, banish. And I have 1 Dawn remaining, which I can attach for 1k. So it'd be a 6k banish, right? Not the highest number, but it's probably more effective against Teach. Oh, wait. That's right. Okay. He activated his leader ability, so I can't even do that because these are on plays. But it would have been nice, you know. If I could, it would have been a really good banish swing here. 6k, he would have to pitch a 2k counter in order to, you know, get out of that if he doesn't want to lose 2 cards straight to the trash. But since he activated his leader ability, now that I remembered, I can't even do this because Onami is a on-play effect. That's unfortunate for me. Yeah, okay, it makes sense then why I'm going for the 8k swing here. We'll see how it pans out still, not establishing any characters. Against Blackbeard, like I said earlier, trying to go as wide as possible with characters is really good because you just get multiple swings off. Back to his turn, he goes for a 5k swing at my life. I have plenty of counter in hand here. I should probably counter. Just to keep my life healthy. Ooh, I actually take the life, and it is 9 flash. He then pitches 1 card to use his stage, searching out top 3 and finds a Kuzan. I think I know why. Yeah, I'm remembering why I ended up just taking the life here. It's because I was hoping for a trigger body potentially, or it's because I was trying to search for one of those 3 cards earlier, right? Whether it's the X-Drake, Hikunojo, or Basil Hawkins, any of those would have been nice so that I can just play down a body on my following turn. Going back to my opponent, he did use 1 Dawn to play Lafitte, which is a searcher, and he finds... I forgot what card he finds there. It's okay. He found a card. Found a Blackbeard card. He's got... Dang, I think that's 8 cards in hand. Maybe 9, actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 cards. He taps his last 2 Dawns to play the Vasco Shot Blocker, then uses leader ability to trash 1 card from hand and turn off my on plays once more. Passes back to me. I draw for turn. It is Buzzcut Mochi, a card I don't need right now, and I go up to 5 Dawn. So this is really annoying. Let's pause real quick. If I spread my hand one more time. Yeah, there we go. So he has the Vasco Shot Blocker now, and I have no characters on board, which is making me regret not playing out a character last turn. Having a character on turn would have meant that I could just attach some Dawn and swing at my opponent, or even just at the Lafitte so he can't search anymore. Either of those would have been good, but since I don't have a character, I'm in a tough position here because my only resting options in hand are Izo and 9 Flash. This is the point where I really would have liked to see X-Drake. Let me just pull up X-Drake right now so we can talk about it. X-Drake is a 3 cost, 3k power, 2k counter character that says, activate main, you may rest this character. If the number of your life cards is equal to or less than the number of your opponent's life cards, rest up to one of your opponent's one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less. So this would have been a really good card to have at this moment. We are equal life here, 3 and 3. So it would have let me establish a character, rest the Vasco Shot, and be able to, use leader to attack life, most likely. Or if I'm really just wanting to get rid of his searcher, attack Lafitte, right? But since he turned off on plays, I can't even use Izo to rest Vasco Shot. I could use the 9 Flash, but that means I'd have to play a character and rest it in order to get that resting ability off. Let's see what I decide to do here. I've got a lot of cards in hand. 8 cards. I'm moving the Mihawk to the front, thinking about maybe just establishing the character. Yeah, I'm really thinking about what can I do here? Having my on plays turned off Feels kind of bad. Alright, I end up just going 9k at my opponent. He just blocks freely. Interesting move. Looking back on it, I think that plan I said earlier probably would have been better. I think it would have been nice to play the Izo out for 3 Dawn. So Izo out, 3 Dawn. So I have 2 Dawn left to work with. Let me actually just erase this arrow here. And then use my last 2 Dawn to play out the 9 Flash. So 2 Dawn for 9 Flash. This would have given my leader plus 3k. I could have rested my Izo and rest his Vasco shot and be able to swing at my opponent for 8k double attack at his life, right? 8k double attack. I'm just gonna do a 2x there. The reason why I think this is good is because it helps me establish one character on board. You can see that up until now, I'm not establishing any characters, which means I'm solely relying on attacking with my leader. If he keeps putting out these chunk blockers, then I am nowhere close to winning, right? He can just block freely like he did here. It would make it really hard for me to just make any kind of comeback. So I think that was a misplay on my end. I should have remembered that going wide is really good against Blackbeard. Even if I don't get the on plays, just establishing characters would have helped a lot. Especially if it stays alive, I could have used leader ability to attach to Dawn, and they're suddenly an attacker. Oh well. My opponent goes to his 6th Dawn turn. He uses full lead to search out a Burgess. Oh, sorry, he uses Lafitte to search out a Burgess, then uses the stage card to search out something. Let's see here. One of the two. I think he uses Lafitte right now. Yeah, finds another Burgess. Alright. So we know he has 2 Burgesses in hand. You can see that my opponent's hand is very healthy, right? This is, you know, a misplay on my end. I'm giving my opponent too much value. He's been searching every turn, so that sucks. My opponent goes 5k here with his leader, and I choose not to counter once again. Why? It's the 5-cost Nami too. I'm considering the trigger, which would have let me KO'd something. Ooh, that's definitely a misplay. Alright, well, my opponent spends 5 Dawn to play out the new Kuzan. I think I'm just here admiring the art. But this new Kuzan is really good, so let me just go ahead and put it on screen. It can't be removed by opponent's effects. Plus, at any point, he can trash the Kuzan to draw 1 card and then play up to 1 Blackbeard Pirate card with a cost of 5 or less from his trash. He ends up doing that immediately, actually. Wow. So he pops it, and I think he's gonna find Burgess, I think. But while he's doing this, let's go back to that trigger. Pause it, actually. So the trigger in my life was 5 cost Nami. So I'll put that up on screen. The trigger would have let me activate the on-play ability, which is trash 1 card with trigger from hand, KO up to 1 of your opponent's characters with a cost of 5 or less. Then if you have 3 cards or less in hand, draw 1 card. I'm never getting that second portion off because I have 8 cards in hand, but I think with the amount of cards in hand, I should have just activated the trigger to kill the Lafitte. I know it feels bad, but I haven't been attacking it. I don't have any characters on board to attack it. It would really suck if I have to use my leader to attack it when my leader has double attack. So using the trigger to KO the Lafitte would have meant that he is down 1 search on his turn, right? I mean, I know he already searched, but now I don't have to worry about it in future turns. It doesn't make sense why I kept it in hand, because it's an on-play ability, so maybe I was thinking keep it in hand, use the on-play ability to play it, trash a card, and then KO the Lafitte or KO something else, whatever he puts out, but my opponent's been negating my on-plays every turn. This card is pretty much dead in my hand, other than the fact that it's a 1k counter. So I think that's a misplay on my part. I definitely should have just triggered it just to KO the Lafitte. But okay, whatever. Misplays everywhere. My opponent ends up finding or taking the Burgess from trash. Really good card for him. Gives him plus 1k power for every 4 cards in trash. So he's got 9 cards in trash right now. So right now, the Burgess is a 7k attacker and can't even be KO'd by effects, which is really good. I go up to my 7-Don turn. I draw a Momonosuke. It's a blocker, but once again, since my opponent used their on-play, sorry, I left the markings up there, or use his leader ability to negate on-plays, I can't even use the on-play to heal. So now I've got a lot of cards in hand, but I'm not doing anything with them. This is really bad on my part. I should just be playing characters to just have characters on board to attack with, right? I already got my opponent down to 3 life, so I need characters on board to use my leader ability. The fact that I'm not doing that is really bad. 10 cards in hand, no characters on board, and I have 2 life left. What am I doing? Yeah, so I think I should have spent more time in the beginning of the game just using the Dawn to play out characters. It doesn't matter if my leader isn't swinging high. The fact that my leader is a double attack, you know, on every single swing means that my opponent either is willing to take, has to either take 2 cards from life or be willing to, you know, pitch 1k counter. Both of those aren't too bad in this scenario. So yeah, there's no point of me swinging with higher like leader number here. You can see that at this point in the game, I'm kind of realizing that I've made several mistakes, and now I'm trying to figure out what is the best way for me to come back. I have 7 Dawn, but no Hody Jones. Alright, I decide to go for another big swing. Crazy. My opponent looks like he has 7 cards in hand right now. I am swinging 11k at them, so that would be a lot of cards they'd have to pitch. But my thought process right now is really weird. I could have used 5 Dawn to put down Momonosuke. It's still a blocker. Don't get the on-play effect, but at least now I have something to block my opponent's attacks with, right? My opponent's been only attacking me 5k every time. Having a 6k blocker would be really good. And then with my remaining 2 Dawn, I could have just gone 7k with leader. Don't know why I didn't do that. And my opponent, wow, decides to counter out here, giving me, I think that's 3 2ks and a 1k. It's good for him because now he has, what is that? 13 cards in trash, so his Burgess gains another plus 1000, so now his Burgess is an 8k attacker. Brings his hand size down to 4 though, but I don't think he minds that at all since he's in a winning position right now. Uses stage, searches top 3. Finds Kuzan. He still has 8 Dawn. And now that I've said 8 Dawn, right? This is the worrying factor. He's going to be 10 Dawn next turn. So if he's able to find his 10 cost Teach, which he probably has at this point, could be in hand already, he's going to be starting to drop this huge blocker that I cannot get around. The only option would be to play Hody Jones, but if my opponent is turning off on plays, Hody Jones doesn't allow me to rest his blockers. So things are just looking pretty bad for me. So he ends up using the Lofi searcher to look at top 5, and he takes My Era Begins, so he's still gonna search some more. Or not? Okay, he takes the 10 cost Teach. There it is. Yeah, makes sense. He's gonna be at 10 Dawn next turn. If he doesn't already have it in hand, having it now just means that he knows, I know, we both know what his 10 Dawn play is gonna be. I've got no characters on board, so he's not threatened at all. Yeah, this is... I just made a lot of misplays this game. It's okay. So he goes 8k with the Burgess. Please tell me I counter out of this. I have 10 cards in hand. Alright. Give 2 2Ks. Counter out for 9. Then he goes 5K with his leader. I'm really wondering why I'm holding on to my cards. I think it's just because I'm hoping there's a turn he doesn't use on plays and I try to go big at him. It's not gonna happen. Yeah, okay. Give up the Nami, 1K counter, 6K to counter out of the 5K attack. He's gonna tap 2 to play Vasco Shot. There it is, blocker, makes it tough. And then plays out a Kuzan for his remaining Dawn. And I still don't have X-Drake, I still don't have Kikunojo, and I still don't have Basil Hawkins, right? Unfortunate. My opponent just passes the turn. And I go up to my 9 Dawn turn. What's the plan here? I drew a Nekomamushi. Okay. I still can't play on play since he did pitch a card before ending his turn. Alright, I see that I took out the Buzzcut Mochi. I can use that now since I am at less life than my opponent. But the only card I can KO on his board is either the Vasco Shot or the Lafitte. I think I'm just looking at my hand in disappointment right now that I have a bunch of on plays and I don't have any characters on board. Alright. I tap 2 Dawn to play Buzzcut Mochi. Let's see, I think I KO the blocker here. Yeah, KO the blocker. And then I tap 2 more Dawn to play Tonoyasu. Yep. Use his effect, give my leader plus 3K. And I go 8K at his life. Interesting. Trigger and a trigger. My era begins, so it lets him search. Good for him. That's a very good trigger. I don't know if going 8K here would have been a good idea at his life. So he only had 2 cards in hand at the beginning of my turn. Attacking his life meant that I just gave him 2 more cards. So now he's up to 4 cards in hand. You know? I had a lot of counter... Sorry, let's pause real quick. I had a lot of counter in hand. I mean, probably not enough counter to like survive everything, but with 2 life and a bunch of counters, I would have been safe next turn. If I kept my opponent at 2 life here, or 2 cards in hand, we know 1 card is a Marshall D Teach, and he probably would have activated his on play or his leader ability next turn. If he plays that Teach, he would only had 2 cards in hand, the one he draws, plus the one he kept in hand after playing out the Teach. That probably would have been a lot better. I think I should have just gone 8K at the Lafitte, which has been giving him a lot of value. I would have loved to have attacked the Burgess. In fact, maybe I should have just attached all my Dawn to hit the Burgess. But getting rid of one of these 2 would have probably been a better play. He's still at 3 life, but now he's got no cards in hand, right? And if he's got no cards in hand, or 1 card in hand, I can start finally using on-play abilities. Why didn't I think of that? Yeah, that's a misplay on my side. And playing out this Momonosuke, I think this is a waste of 5 Dawn. It does give me a blocker, but if he plays the 10 cost Teach, he can negate my Momonosuke's blocker ability, right? So if you don't know what the Teach is, let's just throw it up on screen. 10 cost Teach, where is it? Right here. 10 cost, 12k body blocker that says activate main. Once per turn, if your leader has the Blackbeard type and this character was played on this turn, negate the effect of up to one of your opponent's leader during this turn. Then negate the effect of up to one of your opponent's characters and that character cannot attack until the end of your opponent's next turn. So he negates my leader ability and my Momonosuke, and my Momonosuke wouldn't have been able to attack. So yeah, I did establish a body finally, but it's not going to even be able to block for me. So I'm still in the same scenario as if I didn't play it out, right? So if I had used the Dawn to either not even go wide, I probably want the counter here, but just, you know, attach more Dawn to my leader and just get rid of the Burgess, it would have been one less attack, and my opponent's now like at a very low hand size. That would have been a much better play. Pitches a card to search with full lead again. Yeah, see, now his hand size back to 4 from my double attack. Gonna take a 2k counter. Okay, makes sense. He's low on hand size. It would make sense that he wants counter. His Burgess is now a 10k body. That's crazy. Yeah, getting rid of that Burgess probably would have been better. And then he drops 10 cost each. So now my leader ability is negated. So is my Momonosuke blocker, and Momonosuke cannot attack. Now he's got 3 swings. There comes a 10k with Burgess. I just have to take it. I'm not ready to pitch every card in hand. It is Onami, but the problem is that both Burgess and Kuzan cannot be KO'd by effects. So same scenario as before. Don't think I trigger, yeah. Don't trigger, keep it in hand for counter. I think I just learned a lot about the matchup here. I now know my opponent's leader is usually swinging just 5k at me, so countering out of that wouldn't be too bad. Putting down the 6k blocker would be really good against Teach. And then just trying to establish characters once again. So he attacks 5k at my life with Kuzan, then I counter out for 1k with one of my Onamis, and then he just trashes it to play out Vasco shot. Blockered up once again. And then pitches 1 card to activate leader ability. So very unfortunate for me. I guess I put myself in this position. My opponent is just playing the standard Blackbeard game plan, you know? I'm at 10 Dawn down. I still don't even have Hody Jones in hand. Hody Jones would have been at least a rush character. That's 8k. I don't have many options. Ooh, this is a very bad position. You can tell that just by me kind of sitting here staring at my hand, not sure what to do. It's just a sign that, you know, this game is probably wrapped up, right? Play out Neko Mamushi, sure. Tap to Dawn to play out the 9 flash, rest my Neko Mamushi, give my leader plus 3k, and rest the Vasco shot. Alright. So he's down 1 blocker. And I guess I'm going 9k in my opponent's life. Sure, I guess. Blocks, easy block. I forgot that my Momonosuke cannot attack here because of Teach. I would have gone 9k there with my Momonosuke, but can't even do that. So with 3 Dawn up, there's not much more for me to do. Playing out any cards at this point just means I'm out of counter. And And then I just pass the turn, right? Makes sense. Back to my opponent. I only have 3 cards in hand, 1 card in life. My opponent has a Lofi on board, Burgess, which is like 10k power right now, Vasco Shot, and 10 cost Marshall D Teach plus his leader. With, I think that's 5 cards in hand. Uses stage to go searching. Finds another Teach, giving himself the option if somehow I get out of this, I guess. I ended up not attacking with my Momonosuke last turn just because now the negate effect is offline, so he is a blocker again, at least. He goes 10k with the Burgess. I just have to take that. With only 5k counter in hand. Oh, that's right. I can choose the block. Alright. Free block, I guess, but still doesn't change the fact that my opponent still has 2 attacks. He now goes 4 Dawn on his leader to attack my life for 9k. I just take that. There's my Hody Jones. And then he just attaches the remaining Dawn to his Teach. And I don't have enough counter, right? So, I think either way... Let me go back there. With 3 cards in hand, I could have gotten out of the 9k swing with his leader, but that would have taken all 3 cards since I did have 2 2ks and a 1k. Where is it? Let me see my hand. Sorry, trying to find the spot here. Yeah, okay. So, hard to see there, but it's 2 2ks and a 1k. 9k swing. I probably could have pitched all these cards. Then it would have left me with no cards in hand with 1 life, and he still has 6 Dawn left. It would have been really easy for him to attach 3 Dawn to like Vasco Shot here. Make it a 5k attack. I have to take it. We now know it was just a Hody Jones, so then he just attaches the rest of his Dawn to his Teach and goes for game. No way I'm getting out of that. The last card on the top of my life, or top of my deck, was... One second. And that's game, yep. Alright, there's the X-Drake finally. That's unfortunate. But that's gonna do it for this game. I know I made a lot of mistakes. What do you think? Think I should have done anything different? Of course I probably should have, but just want your thoughts on, how I could have played this out better. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next game. Until next time, remember, keep your minds fresh and your spirits free. See ya!